and really proud of the Sun Devil crowd. Our guys played with a lot of spirit and passion, a lot of heart and energy. Our crowd was fabulous. There were a couple instances I thought they really made a difference for us. But a good hard-fought win. Obviously, we got off to a good start. Marquette battled back, not surprisingly, but our guys were able to maintain their poise and composure and come away with a hard-fought win on a spectacular block shot by Jordan to ice the game on the final possession. We had to withstand some serious foul trouble. We elected to hold Jahi in the first half when he picked up his second. We were up 11 when he went out, and we were up 10 at the half. So we kind of weathered that storm. Obviously, John Gilling picked up his third in the first half. Jermaine had 2, and then to start the second half, I mean, they got right back in it with some turnovers on our part, and Jake Thomas, their outstanding shooter, kind of got it going a little bit.
How would you assess the team's performance against the 2-3 zone offensively?
I'm really comfortable with our zone attack. I think our guys are comfortable playing against the zone.
You talked about Jordan's performance. He's 6 double-doubles in a row. He had 5 in his career.
Yeah. I've been saying it all year, and I think at some point maybe the national media will pick up on it as well. If there's a more improved player over the span of these last 4 years, I don't know who it is, but I know Jordan has to be in that conversation. Just take it from a conditioning standpoint. At no point previously in his career have he ever played in a game this physical and combative for 39 minutes. I mean, he would need to come out every few minutes. But he has so improved himself physically through the great help of our world-class sports performance coach, Rich Wenner, that he's able to play at a high level now for much longer periods of time. But I thought Jordan was just terrific today, and the numbers he's posting, they're hard to beat.
Some coaches will say that you learn a whole lot more from a close game than a blowout game. Would you agree with that assessment?
Well, I guess it just depends on how smart you are. Smart guys can learn in every instance, and that's what we try to do. We always try to teach. We always try to have honest feedback as coaches, as players. We try to tell each other the truth. So we want to take advantage of every opportunity to learn. But when you play against great competition like this, it does give you an opportunity to grow.
How valuable was a win like this against quite a physical team and a good team?
Well, I mean, it's a great win for us, but like we said even last week, it's one game of the 32 that we're guaranteed, and a win like this certainly doesn't mean anyone's going to coordinate us. And if we would have lost, it wouldn't have been our demise either. It's a long season, and believe it or not, we've played 6 games. We've had some hard-fought games already, and it's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Was that a tough decision to keep Jahi on the court after he picked up the third foul?
Not after he picked up the third. It was a little bit tougher to keep him on the bench that long with 2. Because although we got the lead back up to 10, it did scrunch below that. And then I was struggling with whether I should roll the dice and keep him on the bench. What tipped the scales was the thought if he would pick up his third in the first half, that could really not be good for us. But that was the toughest decision with respect to the foul situation.
Marquette went on a great run to start the second half, and you did not call timeout. Was that trust in your guys? Was that early in the season? Let's see how they handle it?
Yeah, I do trust our guys, and there wasn't a whole lot to say to them. By the time they had cut into the lead, and I looked up, the media timeout was around the corner. You know, there wasn't any strategic changes that needed to be placed at that point. You know, and basketball is a game of runs, and I think it's good that our guys are able to have a run, but also weather the storm the other way. You know, maybe if the media timeout wasn't looming as close as it was by the time they were putting the finishing touches on that run, I would have elected to call timeout.
You talked about Igor's performance, and in particular him chasing one of those screens on the shooter and just kind of being the glue guy, I guess that he is.
Yeah, we have a couple of really good glue guys, and Igor is certainly one of them. The effort that he plays with as a freshman is unusual. He literally gives everything he has. He's so easy to cheer for. Loose ball, rebound, and then we even had enough confidence to put him on Thomas and have him chase on some of those screens that you mentioned, Chris. That's highly unusual to be able to put a first-year player in those kind of situations. But he's tough, he's smart, he's strong. So he's advanced in those ways sometimes beyond his years.
What was the game plan in that last defensive possession? Did you say anything to the guys beforehand?
Well, you know, we were going through different contingencies because obviously we didn't know how many points we'd be winning by. Jermaine was at the line. It was a one-on-one. Was he going to make 0, 1, or 2? So there was a lot of different possibilities on the board there. When he missed the second one, you know, there really wasn't a whole lot of strategy. With 7 seconds to go on the clock, you know, in a 2-point lead, they didn't need a 3. A two would tie it. Obviously, we reminded the guys in that situation that, you know, whatever we do, we can't give up a 3 and lose. But it was delicate because, you know, in the huddle, you don't want to really talk about the possibilities if you miss. You know, I didn't want to plant those seeds, so I was trying to do it as judiciously as I could if some of those scenarios would present themselves. But, you know, that aside and all that rambling I just did, you know, Jordan blocked the shot.
Was there any thought to, they had 14 fouls maybe only at that point, to fouling after?
We did. We talked about that, and our first inclination was we were going to do it. We had 1 foul to give. So we were going to do it. But then, because so many of our guys were in foul trouble, so for example, the guy that was most likely going to have to do it was Ben Jaheed, because he was guarding their point guard. And we didn't want to give him his fourth in case something would then have happened and the game would have been extended. And so we just decided, you know, but we did talk about it, and probably would have done it had we not been in the kind of foul trouble we were.
Jermaine's play, I think he had 10 points in a row at one stretch, and he seemed to step up when you needed him.
He's amazing. He's a game player. You know, he really steps up in big moments. He makes shots. I think his, you know, I've said this all along, I think his presence on our team adds confidence in so many ways to our guys.
What adjustments did you try to make on Thomas, particularly towards the end of the game?
Well, when he got hot, we just really tried to, you know, account for his presence a great deal more. You know, we were chasing him off the screens. You know, we were trying to stay home on him. You know, we just were trying to account for his whereabouts a great deal. And then coming out of the timeout, you know, we extended the one screen, and, you know, they did a great job of slipping to the basket. It was a design play, and so it was a good counter punch on their part.
Were you a little, I know you talked about the crowd before, or just that incident when they threw something on the court?
Yeah, I mean, you never like to see that. I mean, the worst case scenario would be, God forbid, somebody would get hurt. Not as bad, but, you know, not not too good either is, it allows them to get points, I mean, in a game like this, you don't want to be giving points away. But we don't want to let that one incident overshadow what this crowd was like today. We had a great student turnout. It was a great environment for college basketball.